It is 5 minutes past 1 and the text lines are open. You can, of course, reach us on the usual numbers 4001 on the SMS, the ARN Play app and the WhatsApp, which is 04871 5500. Maybe you've got a question about family law. Maybe you've got a bit of a spending dilemma when it comes to the demands of your children. Or perhaps you want to win with us today. I have got 4 tickets up for grabs for you to go along to Taste Dubai. It is ultimate foodie festival vibes for 3 days, 6th, 7th and 8th of February at Dubai Media City Amphitheatre. So there are pop-ups from some of the city's most loved restaurants like The Gill, Demon Duck, Kira Bak, Ting Irie, Kadak and more. Celebrity chefs doing workshops, Matt Preston, Rachel Allen, and then multiple licensed outlets, non-stop entertainment and loads of shopping as well. Now you can splurge on your VIP tickets. They're worth 350 dirhams each and you get vouchers as part of that as well. And you can buy your tickets now from just 80 dirhams at Platinum List. But as I said, 4 tickets up for grabs today. If you just tell me your favourite foodie TV show. Maybe it's fictional, maybe it's something like The Bear, maybe, I don't know, maybe you fear a soggy bottom and it is the Great British Bake Off. What is your favourite foodie show? I think, and I love watching food shows despite being a rubbish cook, I do love Chef's Table on Netflix because it's so beautiful, it's so cinematic. But I did spend a very, very happy journey recently on a plane watching Stanley Tucci's tour of Italy, which was just pleasure personified. So what is your favourite foodie show? That's all you need to send me along with your name on 4001, the app or the WhatsApp. Please include the word taste on that and you'll be in the draw to win 4 tickets for Taste of Dubai.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, we are obsessed with skincare.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, my favorite stores are Sephora and Ulta.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, we wear a headband when we're doing our Get Ready With Me's.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. Of course, we don't have toys.
Just a few of a sadly growing tribe of Gen Alpha influencers. That is online personalities born between 2010 and 2025 who are increasingly having a major economic impact, not just on some of the industries and stores that were mentioned there, but on us as families closer to home, because your kid might not be an influencer, but I can tell you what, they're probably being influenced. So if you've found yourself eating somewhere you didn't choose, streaming music you didn't pick, was your Spotify Wrapped a bit odd? Or maybe booking a holiday that your child has been begging for, you are so far from alone. Research from the children's finance app Go Henry estimates that Gen Alpha now have around 3.3 billion UK pounds worth of spending power through their influence on household purchases. 26% of parents are saying their children do directly shape how money is spent. Food delivery, fashion. Kids are becoming decision makers. So Carol Glynn is with us today from Conscious Finance Coaching. We're exploring why raising tweens and teens in 2026 really does have an impact on our bank balance. We should say also, Carol, you're a mum as well.
I am.
You were listening to that with your head in your hands. It's pretty difficult listening, wasn't it?
It is difficult. Yeah.
And that's like, that's the extreme, hey guys, YouTube influencer chat.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people will have listened to some of the store names in there or will have had, the please can I have a phone, please can I have a laptop, so-and-so went there for their birthday party, why can't we go here on holiday?
Yep.
It is existing online, but it's definitely under our roofs as well. And you work with families across, being very proactive about their investments and spending and saving, but also doing some damage control and limitation. And I wondered, with your work with families, have you seen a shift of patterns or pressures when kids do hit that age group?
Yes, without a doubt. This comes up all of the time where parents will ask me, what can I do? The pressure at home because my kids want to do X, Y, and Z, mainly because their friends are doing it. And I feel guilty saying no, or we can't afford it. And now they keep asking me, are we poor? And this worry of like, what am I instilling in my kids? Where is the balance between, what normal, that's relative.
It is in this part of the world.
I want to. And we go back to, I didn't have that when I was growing up. And it's this conflict. And it's an internal conflict in the parents, but it's a conflict in the house as well.
And there's so much to unpack here psychologically, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of parents do feel really torn between maybe wanting to give their kids what they didn't have.
Yep.
But as you say, I think there's an awful lot of, well, I mean, listen, my weekend wasn't at, theme parks or birthday parties. We were literally, going for a walk, go to the supermarket, go to grandma's house for dinner. Our weekends didn't revolve around keeping the kids A, entertained, or B, traipsing around the shops to get you exactly what's on your wish list.
Yeah.
And I think it's so much easier said than done to go, my money, my rules, my house, my da-da-da, because we do get eroded and we do have this sense of guilt sometimes, whether we can afford it or not.
Yeah, it often is not even the point whether we can afford it or not. And what I say to parents is, because sometimes parents will come to me and say, can you talk to my kids and explain to them? Can you teach them? Because they don't seem to understand the impact of what they're doing. And while I can do that, I much prefer to work with the parents, because ultimately it comes back to us, right? And we have to take on that role as parent. Even there's so much of parenting that we don't want to do, but we have to do because that's our job. And what I have found, the best way to deal with this is, first of all, look at what do you want to encourage for your children. Just because we didn't have much growing up doesn't mean I need to instill that in them, but I need to instill the value of money with them. So it's really taking that conscious decision for yourself. How am I talking about money? How am I teaching them about money? And what do I want to encourage? It comes up constantly with pocket money, for example. One group of kids might be spending X amount, another group would spend a fraction of that, right? That's like, we can compare all we like, but you as a family in your value system, what you want your kids to learn, how much does that cost? And then communicate with them. And it's one thing to say, no, that's not allowed. I didn't have that when I was younger. But kids will just go, but why? They need a why. And I find I've yet to come across a situation where when it was calmly explained with the children as to why we live our lives like this, why we're saying no. And even as they get older, we've paid X, Y, and Z this month. It's not that we're poor. We've just had a lot of expenses. And they'll always go, oh, wow, that's really interesting.
And I think...
And they'll learn that way.
It's quite... It's quite a difficult thing to navigate, because I think I was probably very protected growing up. My parents didn't talk to us as kids about things like the sale of our house falling through, or, why we live in this house, or what we can and can't do that. It was very much like a kind of, it's a generational thing because I say so. And I think, to come back to your point, it was never said as, because we can't afford it, that I never had that kind of scarcity mindset. But kids and adults, you can't help but compare. You go to someone else's house, you go to someone else's party, you see someone, getting certain presents. And it's very, very tiring to be having those conversations time and time again. So we're going to talk about how to get on the same page. And we say this as parents ourselves. We deal with it every day. And it was my daughter's birthday yesterday. It's my other daughter's birthday next month. We've just had Christmas. And it feels like, especially with those tween years, the shift becomes more and more pronounced. They start to understand brand names, what's desirable, but do they understand how much something costs and what is needed in order to pay for it? Probably not yet. So we're having this conversation this afternoon with Carol Glynn. If you've got any questions or indeed advice to share, please do get in touch on 4001. We're talking about spending pressures. We're going to be talking about convenience and how that can be pretty costly too. And regretfully, we are going to be hearing for some more young influencers. So make phones more expensive. Take them off the kids.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
Sponsored by Yas Island Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and play at record-breaking theme parks. Book now on yasisland.com.
Jen, how are the roads looking today? We're back in the studio. It was pretty hectic around Trade Centre and Expo yesterday because of Gulf Food. What about day two?
Similar story today. We are being told if you are heading to Gulf Food, whether it's at the Expo City end of things or the Dubai World Trade Centre, please do consider taking public transport. Parking is very busy. Traffic around both of the venues is very busy as well. Outside of Gulf Food, we have got an accident at the moment at the junction of the D54 and Sukim Street. actually Hessa Street, apologies, around the Jebel Ali School entrance. That one causing issues. We've got an accident on the southbound carriageway of the E11 Sheikh Zayed Road in front of Al Barsha at the moment, causing problems. A couple of accidents through Al Quoz, which is making things a bit slow moving through the actual industrial area. And we've got a couple of accidents through Satwa and Jumeirah at the moment on those kind of side roads. Northbound traffic on the Sheikh Zayed roads kicking in around Business Bay, and you will sit in that until Healthcare City because of that trade centre traffic. There's also an accident on the E66 at Zabil, so behind where Trade Centre is. Once we get north of the creek, there's an accident on the D89 in front of the airport. We've got one on the D62, that main route through Sharjah's industrial area, and one on the S102 heading towards the coast through the industrial area. It's also looking very busy both directions on the 311 and the E11 through Sharjah, and there's an accident on the northbound carriageway of the 611. Actually make that 2 accidents on the northbound carriageway of the 611 through Sharjah as well. Anything that I've missed, you can let us know on 4001, but as always, please don't message us until you've stopped your car.
Thank you, Jen.
This is Dubai Eye 103.8.
Indeed, if you've got any traffic updates or you have a question for any of our experts through until 4 o'clock, you can use those numbers. You can, of course, be anonymous if you prefer. We've had a message here saying, this is a tricky one. Our 14-year-old spends her allowance on beauty, but it does seem to make her happy. So what's the harm? And that is a really good question. I'm going to unpack that and more between now and 2.
This is Afternoons with Helen Farmer on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by the Ras Al